Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Alternate History of the Americas. And if you've been paying attention to my channel, you will know that I lost a bunch of the recordings. Really annoying. So I will be recapping what happened along with getting into some new details. So basically, what happened was we got this horrifying country. And this coastal nation, the California nation, it expanded a little bit this way, more inland to like parts of Arizona, Mexico, along with taking more coastline. I don't know why all the borders. Wait, over. Why is my. Oh, there we go. For some strange reason, all the borders over here are drawn really small, so I'll fix that real quick. I think the reason I drew them so small was because this is the Americas. It's like a country full of like native people, so I didn't want to have these giant provinces, especially compared to like Europe. And I think maybe that's why I drew them so big. I mean, so small. Like they were the individual tribes, but I don't know. Alright, now that that border gore over there is fixed, we can get into more important stuff, such as this guy, this country, that silly guy right there. Um, it was supposed to be like this flatlandish kind of country along the Rocky Mountains over here. Um, but it honestly just looks super bad on the map. And honestly, I think it wouldn't last that long. When it formed last episode, it was because a bunch of people and tribes in the region believed that a government such as the one in the Cascadian country and the Californian country would actually be able to keep their people safe because this is flat lands, and while it is pretty fertile and stuff, there's also the issue of tornadoes. Obviously, if you know anything about the United States and weather, you will know that once a year in this region you get something called tornado season. And in this world, natural disasters are very important, and natural disasters in this world do indeed exist, and they impact parts of the story majorly, such as what we're about to see as multiple people will come down and decide that, hey, we've come this way, this long way without, uh, we've come this way with a government, but seeing how we can now take care of ourselves more effectively, it's time to go back to the traditional route. When I say the traditional route, I mean they want to go back to being simply some tribes. So, a large portion of not the empire, this isn't an empire, a large portion of the country will actually go ahead and, believe it or not, he will actually leave the country, splitting it right in half. Now it doesn't have a capital versus these two guys, which do. But what do these two guys want? They want land. How do you get land? Invasion, of course. So, the Cascadian country will start to move in to the white country alongside their southern friend. When I say southern friend, I don't mean that they're like friendly or anything, but like these are the only three nations that exist on the planet or on this continent. So they kind of have to be friends in this invasion. But in reality, they're actually not that peaceful. They kind of don't like each other. But anyways, the Cascadian country will begin to move into like dry, deserty areas. This is where a lot of their territory is. This is kind of where they thrive, or their army thrives at least, compared to up north over here with like flatlands. That is more where the Cascadian country, the green country, would thrive instead. So the green country goes along the outskirts, along the northern lands with some more forest. They go into modern day Montana, taking much of the foresty part of the region before beginning to move down south into more flatter areas, which many people would call today Tornado Alley, as they spearhead over where the old capital is, eventually meeting up with the border over here near the old capital. This northern half up here, which has literally no one in it, surrenders over to the green team, and now it's a race to get everything else over here. The green team begins a sweeping campaign down south. It's seen as the greatest military campaign these two countries have ever had in their wars, which they have, I'm pretty sure, fought some wars. It's been a while, so my bad. The Californian country, seeing that their rival is starting to gain land and pretty fast, will also begin their own sweeping campaign up in like modern day Arizona, New Mexico, going up north into like Nebraska and countries like that, before eventually splitting the rest of the land with the Green Country. With the fall of the White Nation, we can look at a peace treaty. The peace treaty. States will be given the choice to either join the Californian country, join the Cascadian country, or return to their tribal ways. And here's what we get. And so, starting off, we get this chunk of land over here. It decides all of it is going to become its own tribal regions. This may cause some conflicts in the future, but let's see if anyone else joins them. Actually, there will be some countries that join them. We get this decently sized state over here. It decides freedom, kind of. Freedom as in like we are no longer under the rule of actual civilizations and stuff like that. And silly stuff like that, you know? Now, as for the rest of the country, it is going to get partitioned between the Cascadian country and the Californian country. So, here's what we get. Now, as expected, the Cascadian country will get most of the territory that it invaded during the Whoa, that is not what. Oh, frick. The Cascadian country is going to get most of the land that it invaded. So it gets most of the land it invaded. There we go. But also, not quite. Because in a shocking turn of events, they get another state down here. Yeah, this guy joins the country. The remaining states all go to the Californian country, which leaves us with these borders. Now, why did the state down here decide to go for the Cascadian country? It's actually fairly simple. Their people for a long time have actually hated the Californian country. Why? Well, it's because in the past, people from the Californian country have gone into their lands offering to trade with them, but when they refuse these trade offers, they're stolen from, they're beaten, they're attacked, and all in all, most of the tribal people over here, they don't really like the Californians. So when they joined the white country, they were like, hey, now they're not going to invade us. And then half of the white country kind of left. They turned back into tribes, and then country was partitioned. And when they realized they had the chance not to be with the Californian country, they instantly took that chance. They were not going to be with the Californian country. Sure, it may mean that they wouldn't be disrespected as much, but still, there's a grudge. And that's why they went with the Cascadian country instead. Now, also on the topic of the Cascadian country, they're going to do a little bit of exploration. It's not going to be much exploration, and they're going to quickly find that, yeah, maybe that's for a reason, because they come up north exploring, and it becomes really cold, and they turn back around. The expedition isn't very successful. In fact, it's deemed a failure. So, sucks to suck. On the bright side, they did explore some regions in, I think that's California. Not for California, Canada. And speaking of Canada, actually, people are going to go out and discover more parts of Canada. Discovering, I think this is over where Ontario is at. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Also discover parts of New England, going down into New York. And all in all, the natives of the American continents are actually spreading out quite a bit. It's actually pretty crazy. Cascadian country, however, also help some natives move out into some more desert-based areas, eventually helping supply them to come over and reach the Gulf of Mexico, or America, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. It's weird. Politics are weird, guys. Even though I'm currently making a series related to politics, but that's not what matters. What matters is they will eventually move through the Gulf over to the tribes still along the Gulf and say, yo, you guys should come help us move some up north while these new people move south, and eventually both sides begin to do that, and eventually they connect, officially discovering the Mexican parts of the Gulf of Mexico, and also the Texan parts, mostly Texan parts, not all of Texas, or the coast of Texas is discovered yet, but it's still a good start. Down over here, we will have groups of natives continuing to move more south as more and more populations of tribes and stuff begin to settle along the coast of Central America, moving more and more south. Till eventually stopping around where Costa Rica is. Californian country, however, is obviously not very peaceful with Cascadian country. We've brought that up multiple times. But when they see that Cascadia is actually gaining favor from some of these native populations, they're gonna go down south and they're going to try and attack and invade these populations, these tribes, and then they're gonna go down south, they're gonna attack these tribes, and then they're gonna find out these tribes are actually good fighters. They fight back, and they fight back well, pushing them back up to the original border. Californian country realizing, hey, Californian country realizing, hey, maybe these guys can actually help us in a future war against the Cascadian country, begin to also help the natives, starting down here in modern day Mexico as they help them move around the border of the Cascade, they help them move around the coast of the Californian country, moving more and more up north. Which is actually pretty nice. So now, eventually, the two new different tribes, the new tribes meet up with the new tribes, and there's hatred. Californians versus Cascadians. So, over here, there's a tiny bit of a cold war going on. It's a race to gain support of the different tribes. And let's quickly take a look at a sphere of influence, shall we? So, for the Green Country sphere of influence, it would be everything in the line up here in the north going along the American-Canadian border, and also down here in the Cascadian countries enclave, moving down south into parts of Central America. As for the Californian country sphere of influence, it looks something like this. Everything in the yellow from over here in like, I don't know where this is, but over near where the Mississippi River is at, up into like Arizona and states like that, into California, Baja California, into the Mexican coast and down south. That is their sphere of influence. Alright, I'm sorry about that. My headphones just died, and unfortunately, it's a pain. I am not about to record with the way I am positioned right now, and I am not about to turn on my webcam, because I'm going to get 2 times more background noise. So, just know this is the, uh, frick. What's it called? Dementia. Not dementia. These are the sphere of influences for the two main countries in the Americas, the Cascadian country and the Californian country. So keep that in mind going forward. They are kind of, in a way, at a Cold War, but I mean, they're going to have to compete either way, considering the fact that they're only two countries on the continent, and also there's the mess over here. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Yeah, that'd be nice. And also share it, because this is a series I would like to do a lot more. But unlike with alternate history of the world, which is the basically the European guys over here, I really just I mean I have motivation to, but I don't know if you guys like it. So if you guys like this kind of content and want me to do more of it, give it a like and also let me know. Also let me know like feedback and stuff like that. Maybe predictions or even ideas, I there's so much potential, but the issue is I've been doing most of my planning for stuff like the European countries and also stuff I can't get into right now. Just know, keep an eye out on the playlist. There's going to be a new series forming. Uh, Also, join the Discord, linked in the description. And yeah, uh, like the video so I know that you guys like this stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. See ya.